Revealed. Billionaire's daughter chooses unexpectedly heartwarming love for the black Maid transformed her life. In the suffocating opulence of Crestwood Heights, nothing could prepare Amelia Harrington for the revolution of her heart. An 18-year-old trapped in a world of manicured lawns and designer labels, she suddenly found her breath taken away not by an extravagant gala, but by the laughter of Lena, the maid who transformed everything. In those stolen moments whispered under starlit skies, everything began to shift. Lena wasn't just a maid. She was a storm of laughter, strength, and dreams. So unlike the perfectly packaged life of Crestwood Heights, when she shared tales of the city beyond crumbling sidewalks, real struggles, and burning hope, Amelia felt her own world constricting. The weight of her father's expectations loomed large, a gilded cage wrapped around her heart. It was hard to breathe with dreams that pulsed beneath her skin, aching to break free. Every late-night conversation felt electric, widening Amelia's eyes to a universe she had been blissfully ignorant of. Each word was a thread, weaving an invisible bond with Lena, a bond that sparkled with the warmth of real friendship, starkly contrasting her cold, competitive world. "You gotta fight for what you want, Amelia," Lena would say, her voice firm yet playful, igniting a fire within Amelia that she didn't know existed. "You got dreams? Chase them." But Amelia's golden life wasn't simply an illusion. It was a cage decorated with expectations. One night, as Amelia gazed at the stars, she felt the tightening noose of her father's plans for an arranged engagement to a wealthy heir. Panic flooded her. How could she abandon Lena? The thought shattered her. Yet, the fear of disappointing her family crashed over her like icy waves. The whirlpool of conflict left her dizzy. Rumors began to swirl in the pristine streets of Crestwood Heights. Amelia's father, a titan in the business world, discovered the truth of their friendship. His fury cut through the warm summer air like a knife, each word dripping with disdain. "That girl is nothing more than a maid, Amelia. You know your place." It burned. The echo of his words twisted her gut as tears stung her eyes. She felt trapped but defiant, her heart pounding with a sense of rebellion she had never allowed herself. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Amelia faced her father, determined to shatter the confines of her life. "I can't go through with it. I refuse to live a lie." The weight of her father's anger crashed like thunder, but inside her, a spark ignited a storm. The thought of Lena's bright smile pushed her forward. It was as if their worlds collided, reverberating in the whispers of the community, questioning the boundaries so carefully draped over them. Amidst the gripping tension, a decision loomed, dark and heavy. Their hands entwined, they stood together in defiance against the judgmental eyes of Crestwood Heights. Would they shatter the chains or crumble under the pressure? As twilight descended, the air filled with anticipation and dread. Amelia turned to Lena, heart racing. Would they find a way to write their own story? Or would the whispered prejudices of the world drown their dreams? The night held its breath, mirroring the uncertainty clinging to their hearts. Amelia felt a whirlwind of emotions surge within her as she stood in the glowing twilight with Lena. Fear, hope, and defiance collided in her chest, each competing for dominance. Her fingers tingled as they clutched Lena's, and she took a tentative step forward. "We can't let this dictate our lives," she insisted softly, searching Lena's gaze for support. Lena looked back, a flicker of uncertainty passing through her bright eyes. "But, Amelia, it's more than just us. Your family," her voice trailed off, the weight of reality pressing into the air between them. Amelia pursed her lips. "I don't care about my father's expectations. I want to live for me, for us." The words were bold, yet they trembled as they left her lips. Deep down, she knew it wouldn't be easy to break free. The following day, remnants of the night replayed in Amelia's mind. It felt like an electric current, thrilling yet terrifying. As she wandered through Crestwood Heights, Every perfectly trimmed hedge and dazzling mansion reminded her of her father's grip. She knew an engagement loomed in her future, an arrangement that would turn her life into yet another gilded cage at a tea dinner. The atmosphere was thick with tension. Her father's voice boomed across the long, polished table, outlining plans for the engagement with an authority that made her stomach twist. "You'll be so proud to finally merge our families, Amelia. It's a beneficial alliance. You'll be helping our legacy," he declared with a smile that didn't reach his eyes. "Dad?" Amelia started, her heart racing. She glanced towards her mother, whose gaze was fixed on her plate. Was her mother silently supporting her, or was there fear there too? "Enough," her father interjected, his voice sharp. "This is not a discussion. You will do as you're told." The finality of his words hung heavy in the air, dimming Amelia's resolve. That night felt different. The weight of her father's plans pressed down on her like an anchor. After a sleepless night, Amelia found herself sneaking out into the backyard. Under the cloak of darkness, she needed to feel the coolness of the night air against her skin, the only remedy for her increasingly feverish thoughts. The moon painted the garden silver, and she spotted Lena sitting on the patio steps, her head tilted back against the railing, lost in thought. When Lena noticed Amelia, her face lit up just as it always did, brightening the oppressive gloom that wrapped around them. "I didn't think you'd come out tonight," Lena said, a playful smile flirting with her lips, but underneath it, Amelia could sense the worry lingering. "I had to," Amelia whispered, taking a seat beside Lena. "I can't do this. I can't go through with the engagement." Her voice trembled as she expressed a truth she had fought to ignore. Lena turned to her, serious now. "Have you thought about what that means? It's not just about you and me. You could lose everything." "No. What I'll lose is a life I didn't choose," Amelia insisted, her heart pounding. I want to be with you, to take control of my destiny." It was a moment of raw honesty, and she searched Lena's face for hope. The tension grew thick, and Lena's expression softened. "I want that too, Amelia. But are you ready to face the world? To fight for our love?" Amelia swallowed hard. "I don't know, but I know I can't keep pretending." They locked eyes, and for the briefest moment, it felt like the whole world narrowed to just the two of them under the vast night sky. As dawn approached, tinged with the soft hues of a new morning, Amelia realized they stood at a crossroads. Would they rise against the expectations of their worlds, or would they sink back into the shadows, forever bound by familial duty? The question echoed in Amelia's mind, urging her to choose a path that would change everything. With a deep breath, she squeezed Lena's hand. "Whatever happens, we'll face it together, right?" Lena nodded, her expression resolute. "Together." But even as she spoke, a flicker of doubt danced in her eyes. As Amelia stared into the horizon, she wondered, was their love strong enough to face the storm brewing just beyond the gates of Crestwood Heights? With the sun inching upwards, illuminating their faces, everything felt possible. Yet, the shadows of expectation loomed ever closer. As the sun rose over Crestwood Heights, casting a warm glow over the manicured lawns and opulent homes, Amelia felt a shift within herself. She sat on the patio steps, the coolness of the morning air mixing with the warmth of hope flickering in her heart. She wanted to believe they could defy the world, but doubt still nibbled at her resolve. Lena shifted beside Amelia, her fingers intertwining with Amelia's. "We need a plan," she said, her voice steady despite the uncertainty in her eyes. "Running away isn't enough. We need a way to show everyone that our love is real." Amelia contemplated this. "But how can we make them see? My father is determined to control my life." The weight of her family's expectations threatened to crush her again. "We could talk to him. Tell him how we feel, show him that you have a choice," Lena suggested, her voice brightening with conviction. "Maybe he'll understanding isn't his forte," Amelia replied, wanting to chase the dream, but knowing how cold her father's heart could be. "I can't face his wrath, Lena. It would be like walking into a storm without an umbrella." "Then we find another way." Lena moved closer, her warmth dispelling the lingering chill around them. "You're not alone in this. I believe in you, Amelia. And I believe in us." There was sincerity in Lena's words, a promise glimmering in her gaze. Amelia found her heart beating faster. The thought of standing up to her father gave her goosebumps. but it also sparked something powerful: courage. What if we find a way to show him what love looks like? She proposed, her imagination painting a picture of freedom. A life shared, one where I'm not just an extension of his legacy. Lena nodded slowly. Her eyes mirrored Amelia's growing determination. We'll need allies. Someone who understands the stakes. Maybe your mother knows a way to talk to him that won't escalate the situation. Amelia grimaced. The idea of confiding in her mother was daunting. You mean the same mother who hasn't said a word against my father in years? What if she doesn't want to help? She might surprise you, Lena said, a fierce spark igniting in her eyes. It's worth a shot. We can't just roll over. Love deserves a chance. Amelia's breath came in shaky bursts. What would it take to truly break free? To leap toward love with arms wide open? The thought of gathering strength sent her mind racing. What if I set up a family dinner? A chance for everyone to see us, the real us. Brilliant. Lena cheered, her excitement contagious. We'll show them who you really are. Not just the daughter of a billionaire, but Amelia, a woman who has a life to lead. As they contemplated the dinner, Amelia felt a surge of hope, intertwined with fear. Would her family accept this new version of her life? A life with Lena woven within it? I'll talk to her today, Amelia said finally, steeling herself. It's time to poke the bear. With the day stretching before them, like a blank canvas waiting for color, Amelia felt alive. There was a pulse to her heart, igniting a fire kindled by love and the revving engine of rebellion. But there was still so much at stake. If her father refused to listen, if he pushed back, what would that mean for her and Lena? As they stood together, the morning breeze rustling the leaves around them, Amelia felt the gnawing uncertainty of the past push at her from the shadows. She realized that confronting the storm would take more than just courage. It would demand every ounce of her strength. With a final glance toward Lena, Amelia asked quietly, if it all goes wrong, will you stand by me? Lena squeezed her hand tightly, a promise sealed between them. Always. Their resolve locked in place, they stepped off the patio. As they approached the house, the ground felt firm beneath Amelia's feet, but the nagging question lingered. Would the thunderous storm of her father's anger extinguish the flame of their love before it had a chance to burn bright? With the door looming ahead, the truth felt closer than ever, yet so out of reach. What awaited them inside could change everything. The heavy oak door loomed before Amelia, each heartbeat loud in her ears as she reached for the handle. She steeled her resolve, willing her trembling hands to steady. The way ahead felt uncertain, like stepping onto fragile ice. As she entered, the scent of fresh coffee blended with the familiar aroma of her mother's pastries wafting from the kitchen. It was a comforting start to the day that felt anything but. Amelia forced a smile as she walked into the sunlit kitchen, where her mother, Eleanor, was busy arranging an elaborate spread on the countertop. Good morning, sweetheart. Eleanor beamed, brushing a strand of hair away from her face. There was a softness in her eyes, an unconditional warmth Amelia had always cherished. Mom, can we talk? Amelia's voice barely broke past the words. She felt her heart thud louder, her stomach knotting with tension. Of course. Everything all right? Eleanor's smile faltered as she sensed her daughter's gravity. Amelia took a deep breath, the words teetering on the edge of her tongue. I want to invite Lena to dinner. I want our family to meet her. The kitchen fell silent. Eleanor paused with a knife poised over a loaf of bread, her expression shifting from surprise to concern. Isn't that a bit unconventional? It's who I am, Mom. She is part of my life. I want them to see us not just the wealthy daughter or the maid, but two people who love each other. Amelia's voice quivered with a mix of defiance and desperation. Eleanor's grip tightened on the knife, and Amelia could see the internal struggle etched across her face. Your father might not react well, Amelia. He has his views about family image, and Mom, it's time. Amelia interrupted, stepping closer, her heart racing. I can't hide who I am or who I love anymore. Do you want me to live a lie? To marry someone just because it looks good on paper? A shadow crossed Eleanor's face, the pain behind her eyes speaking volumes. You know how your father is. He doesn't take kindly to challenges. I've lived with that truth all these years, Amelia. I don't want to live like that. I'm not asking for permission. I'm asking for your support. Please stand with me, Amelia said, desperation slipping silently into her voice. Eleanor hesitated, her thoughts swirling in the air thick with tension. Then, after what felt like an eternity, she lowered the knife and faced her daughter. If this is what you truly want, we'll make it work. I'll help you. Relief washed over Amelia. Thank you, Mom. I want this to be a family dinner. One that shows love can't be confined to rules. Then let us do it, Eleanor replied, a newfound strength emerging in her voice. As they began laying out the plans for the meal, the tension in the air slowly shifted into something warmer. They laughed and reminisced about past family dinners, breathless in their lightness. Yet, in the back of Amelia's mind, the storm brewed anew. Later that evening, she found Lena on the patio, her head tilted back, eyes gazing at the stars beginning to prick the deepening navy sky. The soft glow lit up Lena's face, illuminating her beauty in a delicate way. Did you talk to her? Lena asked, anticipation brightening her gaze. Amelia nodded, unable to contain the smile spreading across her face. She's going to help. The joy in Lena's eyes matched the spark of hope glowing in Amelia's heart. But the looming shadow of her father's reaction hovered at the edge of her mind. Would he see their love, or would his anger drown it before it bloomed? As they nestled into each other's arms under the vast night sky, anticipation swirled around them, both exhilarating and terrifying. The target was set, the dinner was coming, and the heart of their future rested precariously on a single moment when truths would unfold. But would they emerge with love's light or be crushed under the weight of tradition? Amelia felt the chill of uncertainty creep back as she whispered, "What if everything we hope for falls apart?" Lena tightened her grip. Then we find a way to rebuild, together. Facing the unknown, Amelia took a deep breath. It was only just beginning, but at what cost? Amelia woke the next morning to the bright sunlight streaming through her windows, a stark contrast to the shadows of doubt that lingered in her mind. She lay in bed, the weight of the upcoming dinner coiled tightly in her stomach. Today would be the day everything changed or everything stayed the same, burying her hopes beneath the heavy stones of tradition. Rising slowly, she caught a glimpse of herself in the mirror. Her reflection mirrored her internal struggle, the uncertainty swirling in her chest swirling into a mist that clouded her bright features. Yet, beneath the anxiety, the excitement flickered. This was her chance to be true to herself. She glanced briefly at her phone, her heart skipping when she saw Lena's message. "Can't wait for dinner tonight. Are you ready?" A smile tugged at Amelia's lips, filling her with a burst of warmth. She quickly replied, "Ready as I'll ever be. Love you." The day dragged as she prepared, each tick of the clock echoing in her ear. The kitchen was alive with smells, the cookies and pastries Eleanor had baked filling every corner with sweetness. Amelia assisted, trying to enjoy the familiar rhythm while her mind wandered to the dinner. She and Lena, exposed and vulnerable, finally in the light. "Do you think your father will be angry?" Eleanor interrupted her thoughts, her voice edged with concern. "Mom, we agreed to focus on how much love is present," Amelia replied, her determination rising again. "It's time for him to see that this is real, that Lena is part of who I am." Eleanor nodded, her expression softening but still marred by the worry lines etched into her brow. "Just remember, sweetie, your father may not react well to this. Keep your heart open, and I'll be right there with you." With the sun beginning to set, Amelia felt the excitement building alongside her trepidation. She paced the living room, arranging flowers, straightening pictures, anything to keep her hands busy. Each sound, from the door creaking to the distant laughter of her family, made her heart race. Then, the doorbell rang. Amelia froze, her breath hitching. This was it. "Amelia, can you get that?" Eleanor called from the kitchen. Taking a steadying breath, she moved toward the door, her palms slick with perspiration. As she pulled it open, there stood Lena, radiant and vibrant, a bouquet of daisies in her hand. "Hey," Lena said, her smile bright enough to chase away Amelia's lingering doubts. "Wow, you look amazing," Amelia exclaimed, the nervousness fading just a little. Lena stepped inside, filling the space with her energy. "I brought these for your mom," she said, handing over the flowers. "Thought they would brighten up the dinner table." "Oh, you didn't have to." Eleanor stepped into the entryway, her face lighting up with appreciation. "But thank you, they're lovely." As the three of them worked together in the kitchen, Laughter and stories flowed, creating a bubble of warmth that wrapped around them. Yet, Amelia kept glancing at the clock, the countdown to the impending risk fueling her nerves. Suddenly, an anxious hush fell over the room when Amelia's father, Richard, arrived home earlier than expected. The door swung open, and his commanding presence filled the foyer, instantly pressing down on her hopes. He wore a stern expression, as if he peered into her very soul. "Eleanor, what is all this?" he barked, looking around him as his eyes landed on Lena, pausing for a fraction too long. Amelia felt her heart lurch, the air growing thick and heavy. She quickly stepped forward, her voice steady yet quiet. "Dad, we're having dinner together. I've invited Lena." His brows knitted together, a flash of emotion flickering in his eyes. "You brought her here? Why would you do something like that?" Amelia's stomach dropped. Would this be the moment everything fell apart? "Because I love her," Amelia said firmly, her voice breaking through the tension like the first rays of dawn after a long night. Richard's expression froze, a silence stretching out, waiting to either embrace them or punish their truth. Amelia couldn't breathe. She had taken the leap, risking everything, but would it be enough? And then, in that heart-stopping moment, she wondered what would husband, father, and man of reputation decide in response to a love that challenged everything he believed. The seconds ticked away, stretched thin by the weight of Richard's silence. Amelia could feel it wrapping around her, squeezing the air from her lungs. She stole a glance at Lena, whose eyes were wide, a mixture of concern and hope. Every heartbeat echoed in Amelia's ears, urging her to brace for impact. Finally, Richard shifted, his jaw tightening as he regarded Lena. "You don't belong here," he said, his voice flat but laced with an unmistakable edge of hostility. It slashed through the warmth they had created in the kitchen, the laughter now a distant memory. "Dad," Amelia pleaded, each word feeling like a tender touch to a wound. "Lena is just as much a part of this family as anyone else. She is not one of us. She is my love." "Your love?" Richard's tone dripped with disbelief, and his eyes flashed with disappointment. "What do you want me to do? Celebrate your choice of a maid as your partner?" The word felt heavy, a bitter pill he forced out more than he spoke. "Dad, this isn't about your expectations. It's about me and who I choose to love," Amelia shot back, her voice rising defiantly. The heat of confrontation ignited her spirit, the years of stifling expectations fueling her fire. "Love?" Richard laughed bitterly, shaking his head. "This isn't love, it's a rebellion." Amelia's throat tightened. Each syllable was a reminder of all the times she had tried to fit into the mold. But this felt different. It felt real. Eleanor, standing frozen in the background, took a step forward, her eyes filled with heartache as she spoke. "Richard, words matter. They can heal or hurt, and right now, you're choosing to hurt your daughter." Amelia's gaze flickered between her mother and father. The passion of this moment surged through her, igniting her courage. "I am not ashamed of who I love, and I will not hide that from you anymore." The silence hung, heavy and oppressive, like a storm cloud ready to burst. Richard's expression didn't shift as he absorbed her words, calculating, processing. Yet beneath it all, Amelia could see a flicker of confusion, perhaps even fear. For the first time, he opened his mouth to speak, but his words faltered. "You think this is easy for me? That I wanted my daughter to love someone?" If he hesitated, searching for the right term, "of her station? My station?" Lena, always quiet, chose that moment to speak, her voice breaking through the tension like summer rain. "I know my place, but that doesn't mean I'm not deserving of love. And neither is Amelia." Richard's eyes narrowed, the change in stance catching him off guard. "How dare you, Dad? Please," Amelia interjected, fear and desperation merging as she felt the rise of her voice against the storm. "This isn't just your decision. You need to understand real love doesn't see money or class, it sees hearts and souls." Richard took a step back, the air thick with tension, and for a moment, Amelia dared to hope that what she had said had reached him. And then, there it was again, the silence, becoming tangible, heavy. It crackled like electricity in the air around them, both suffocating and exhilarating. Would he really see them? Would he really hear her? "I need time to process this," Richard finally said, his voice quieter, calmer. but the weight of uncertainty remained. Time. Amelia's heart sank as his words echoed through the room. It felt like the ground was slipping away from under her. Was time going to soften his heart, or allow him to dig his heels in deeper? Her gaze lingered on Lena, who, despite the emotional chaos, offered a soft smile, a beacon of hope amid treacherous waters. Amelia faced her father once more, open now and vulnerable. You might need time, Dad, but I can't go back to a world where I'm not free to love the person I choose. You know who Lena is to me, and she deserves your respect. Richard exhaled sharply, a last vestige of his stubbornness visibly dissipating. The battle lines had been drawn. Then we will see, he replied, tension thrumming in the air, and just before he turned away, he added, but know this, I will not change my principles. For anyone. As he retreated into the house, leaving behind a whirlwind of uncertainty, Amelia felt her heart plummet. What had she achieved? Was there hope for reconciliation, or was this just the beginning of a war she wasn't prepared for? In the stillness that followed, Amelia turned to Lena. Their eyes locked, and in that moment of shared understanding, Amelia could feel the uncertainty threatening to crush them again. Whatever happens, we face it together, Lena whispered softly, taking Amelia's hand. And despite the clouds of doubt swirling overhead, a small flicker of hope ignited in her chest. But looming questions hovered in the air. Would Richard's acceptance come at the cost of his love? Would it all be worth it in the end? That uncertainty hung palpably between them, and as they stood there, together yet vulnerable, Amelia couldn't shake the feeling that the storm was far from over. What would become of them and their love in the face of such deep-rooted tradition? Would they find a way through the shadows, or would their love be snuffed out by the harsh light of reality? Amelia's heart felt like a drum, pounding in her chest as she clung to Lena's hand. They stood in the silent aftermath of Richard's retreat, the air heavy with unspoken words and unresolved tension. Was this really how it was all going to play out? Let us take a walk, Lena suggested, her voice steady but gentle. It was a lifeline. Let us get out of here. Amelia nodded, grateful for the clear directive. They slipped out the back door, past the fading smell of the kitchen where so many happy memories had been made, and into the garden dotted with daffodils dancing in the afternoon sun. For a moment, they paused, soaking in the warmth just as they had soaked in each other's presence during the earlier joyful moments of the day, now tainted by conflict. As they walked, Amelia felt the weight of Richard's words still clinging to her like a heavy cloak. His disbelief and disappointment felt suffocating. I was hoping he would understand. I was hoping he would try, she admitted, bitterness creeping into her voice. Lena squeezed her hand, a reminder of their connection, of their love that thrived on mutual respect and support. Sometimes, she said softly, understanding takes time. All you can do is be true to yourself. Amelia sighed, frustration bubbling to the surface. But what if being true to myself cost me my dad? Isn't family supposed to mean something? Family can be complicated, Lena replied, her eyes reflecting a quiet strength. But real love can overcome a lot. Your dad might need time, but that doesn't mean you stop loving him. Amelia nodded, her hair blowing slightly with the breeze as she grappled with the painful truth. It's just so hard to choose between the two of you, she confessed, looking away to hide the tears that threatened to spill. Lena stopped and turned to face her, cupping Amelia's face with both hands, wiping away the anxious worry etched on her brow. You don't have to choose. Loving me doesn't mean you can't love him, too. Love isn't a limited resource. It grows. Amelia stepped back, processing the weight of those words. Could love really grow in a garden of pain and disapproval? It just feels like I'm caught in the middle of a war, she murmured. If it is a war, then we fight it together, Lena said fiercely. I'm not going anywhere, and neither should you. Face this storm with your head held high. A smile broke through Amelia's frown, a spark igniting the flame of hope in her heart. You're right, she said, straightening her back as the confidence began to rebuild within her. I can't let fear guide my choices. Hand in hand, they moved deeper into the garden, the colors around them vibrant and alive, a stark contrast to the heavy emotions weighing down Amelia's heart. She could feel the sun warming her skin, paralyzing doubt beginning to fade with every step. To your heart, Lena said playfully, raising their intertwined hands. Let us plant the seeds of love where the weeds of doubt try to take root. Amelia laughed, a sound that felt strange yet liberating after the earlier confrontation. What do you mean? Every time you feel scared, remember that love can bloom in the hardest soil, Lena explained. With patience and care, we can help it grow. As they meandered through blooming flowers, a sense of determination settled within Amelia. No matter what challenges lay ahead, she wouldn't back down. But would Richard ever come to see the truth in her heart? And just as uncertainty started to creep back in, the front door swung open again. Richard's figure emerged, silhouetted against the setting sun, a storm of emotions written across his face. Amelia's breath hitched. Did he come to fight, or was he searching for something more? Her heart raced, caught between joy and trepidation. The confrontation was far from over. What would Richard say now that he had some time to reflect? Richard approached slowly, his face a mixture of resolve and confusion. Amelia's heart pounded in her chest as she exchanged glances with Lena, who stood steadfast beside her. She needed to know what he had decided, but the uncertainty felt like a chasm opening beneath her feet. Amelia, Richard said, his voice firm yet tinged with an unfamiliar vulnerability. I've been thinking about everything we discussed. About you and Lena. He hesitated, running a hand through his hair as if trying to untangle his thoughts. What did you decide? Amelia breathed, struggling to keep her voice steady. I realized that I've been so focused on my expectations and what I thought was right for you. He admitted, taking a step closer. I forgot to listen to you. The weight of his words hung in the air. Lena's grip tightened around Amelia's hand. Amelia felt the support, but the intensity of the moment held her still, frozen in a flash of hope and fear. Dad, she started, wanting to explain once more about her love for Lena, for the life she wanted to build. But Richard held up a hand. Please, let me talk, he urged, his expression shifting to one of sincerity. I can't say I understand everything yet, but I know I want to support you. Amelia's heart flickered with cautious optimism. Support me? Yes, he said. Your happiness is what matters most. I can't take you away from the people you care about. That's the last thing I want. Tears stung Amelia's eyes as she processed his unexpected acceptance. This was new terrain for both of them, each hesitant step into understanding a victory. Really? She whispered, as if afraid to disturb the fragile peace. Richard nodded, looking expectant. I want to meet Lena properly. I want to know her, understand her place in your life. Can we start there? The relief washed over Amelia like a warm tide, overwhelming and beautiful. She glanced at Lena, who was smiling, tears shining in her own eyes. They were standing on the precipice of a new beginning, and for the first time, it felt like there could be a bridge built where only walls had existed. I would love that, Amelia said, feeling a wave of courage rise within her. I want you to get to know her. She means so much to me. Richard's expression softened. I'm sorry if I ever made you feel like you had to choose. That was never my intention. Lena stepped forward, exchanging a look with Richard, a look that communicated more than words ever could. They were two people from different worlds, but united in their shared love for Amelia. Thank you, Lena said, her voice steady, for being open to this conversation. I know it's not easy. Richard nodded, finally stepping into the light of understanding. It was necessary. They stood together, three hearts beating in rhythm, the garden blooming around them as if celebrating this moment. But as Amelia felt the wave of acceptance wash over her, a small shadow of doubt lingered. Would the changes last? What would it take for them to fully embrace this new dynamic? Can we really do this? She asked, vulnerability creeping back in, tempting her to doubt. Richard looked directly into her eyes, his answer a promise heavy with weight. We are just getting started, Amelia. It's going to take time for all of us, but I want to try. For you. Hope flickered like a candle, but as the sun began to dip below the horizon, Amelia felt a shiver of apprehension. Was this the real turning point, or just another glimpse of light before another storm? She squeezed Lena's hand tighter, bracing for the journey ahead. But as she opened her mouth to speak again, a strange voice echoed from the house, her mother's surprised call drifting into the calm evening air. What is happening out here? Amelia's stomach tightened. Would her mother accept this newfound harmony? Would the fragile truce between them hold up in the face of her mom's expectations? So much for a peaceful moment, Lena murmured softly, an amused smile breaking the tension. As Richard shifted his posture, ready to face the next challenge. Amelia felt a surge of determination. She would stand her ground. No more hiding. No more running. But would her mother welcome them or push them away? The answer loomed like an approaching storm cloud, and Amelia knew this was only the beginning of a much bigger battle. Amelia's heart raced as she turned to face the door, the unmistakable sound of her mother's footsteps echoing through the hall. She felt a surge of uncertainty flood her system. Would her mother understand? Would she see the love and sincerity radiating from both Richard and Lena? What is happening out here? Her mother called again, this time sharper, nearly cutting through the tension like a knife. Amelia took a deep breath, steeling herself. Mom, can you come out here for a minute? Seconds felt like hours as she watched the door creak open, revealing her mother clad in her usual crisp cardigan, perfectly pressed and impeccably styled. Amelia noticed her mother's eyes flicker from her to Richard, and then to Lena, assessing them like she was trying to find the missing pieces of a puzzle. Amelia stepped forward, taking the reins of the conversation. Mom, we were just talking. About us. A furrow formed on her mother's brow, the years of cultivated elegance momentarily melting to reveal confusion. Us? She asked, skepticism lacing her voice. Yes. Richard wants to know Lena better because she's important to me, Amelia said, her voice steady despite the whirlwind in her stomach. The truth felt freeing on her tongue, yet terrifying all at once. Richard moved slightly, as if to show he was there in support, but also maintaining a respectful distance. Lena stood by Amelia's side, her presence a calming anchor. Her mother remained silent, biting her lip as if trying to weigh everything that was happening. I see, she finally said, her tone inscrutable. You're serious about this? Amelia nodded, bracing for what would come next. I am, Mom. I love Lena. The weight of that declaration hung heavily in the air, and for a moment, it seemed that time had stopped. Amelia, her mother began, voice trembling with unspoken words. But before she could finish, Richard stepped in, his demeanor soft and earnest. Mrs. Hartman, he said, I understand this might be difficult for you. It's new and unexpected. But I want you to know that Amelia's happiness is all that matters to me. I want to include Lena and understand this situation. I hope you can see that, too. Her mother's gaze flicked to Richard, and then back to Amelia, a mixture of surprise and reluctant respect surfacing in her eyes. The shift in energy was palpable. Something had changed. Suddenly, tears sprang to Amelia's mother's eyes as she spoke. I just want you to be happy. But this is unexpected, and I don't know if I can adjust this quickly. Amelia stepped closer to her mother. I know it's a lot to take in, but I'm asking for your support. I want to be honest about who I am and who I love. The silence stretched, and Amelia could almost hear the crackling of the evening air as tension hung. Love is complicated, her mother finally said, voice thick with emotion. But I want you to feel safe enough to be honest with me. Lena, feeling the weight of the moment, took a small step forward. Mrs. Hartman, I care deeply for Amelia. I want to honor her and your family. I just hope you can see that. Amelia watched as her mother's expression changed, slowly softening. She was fighting her own battles, trying to navigate the unfamiliar territory of accepting something she hadn't anticipated. I need time, her mother said finally, her voice quiet and wavering. But I want to try. Relief washed over Amelia like rain on thirsty soil. There was a glimmer of hope now, despite the rough edges. Thank you, Amelia said, a mix of joy and fear surging within her. Richard smiled, and Lena's eyes shimmered with gratitude as they stood in the fading light. Amelia felt a powerful mixture of fear and excitement pulse through her. Changing family dynamics could feel like an insurmountable mountain. Yet, with Richard, Lena, and now the inkling of acceptance from her mother, there was a path forward. But just as the moment began to settle, Amelia's phone buzzed sharply in her pocket. She pulled it out, glancing at the screen, heart dropping. It was a message from her best friend, asking if she had been avoiding her. Reality was clawing back, and the words on the screen sent a ripple of anxiety through her. Who is it? Richard asked, concern springing to life in his voice. Amelia could only swallow hard, the weight of other complicated friendships hovering just beyond the garden walls. The air felt charged with unspoken complications as she hesitated. Would her friend's reaction dash the fragile peace they had begun to build? In that moment, Amelia knew this was far from over. This journey was just beginning, and she would have to navigate not just her family, but the entire world that had yet to embrace her truth. The weeks that followed the dinner felt like a whirlwind of emotions rippling through Amelia's heart. With every passing day, a sense of hope blossomed amidst the uncertainty that had once weighed her down. Richard had taken tentative steps towards understanding. Little by little, he began to engage with Lena, sharing small talk during dinners, and even watching as they worked together in the garden, a place that had become a sanctuary for the blossoming love they cherished. Lena visited more frequently, her laughter filling the halls of Crestwood Heights, and the once tense atmosphere began to shift. There were still murmurs of doubt and questions floating in the air. However, the fierce strength of Amelia's commitment shone through, holding everyone accountable to their willingness to embrace change. One afternoon, they sat in the garden, sunlight dancing across their faces, and Amelia felt lighter than she had in years. "You know," she said, glancing at Lena while watering the flowers, "I didn't think this was possible. It feels like we're finally moving toward something real." Lena turned to her, a warm smile lighting her face. "Our love is real, Amelia. It's strong. With hearts wide open, we can make an impact. All that matters is that we stand together." Amelia couldn't shake the fears of the past. What would friends think? How would they respond to Lena? In those moments, she poured out her heart, revealing how deeply she longed for acceptance from everyone she cared about. Lena clasped her hands, their warmth connected in tender reassurance. "Remember, truth over time builds bridges," Lena said softly, the conviction in her voice a soothing salve to Amelia's worries. Just as they started to envision a future where love prevailed over prejudice, a storm brewed outside the cozy bubble they had formed. It arrived in the form of Amelia's long-standing friendship with her peers, who expressed concern over her relationship with the maid. The words cut deep, lightning striking Amelia's confidence, but she fought to remind herself of their journey and what mattered. On a day when emotions ran particularly high, Amelia marched into school and was met with whispers that stung like angry hornets. It was a gathering of judgment, a reminder that the world outside Crestwood Heights was far from kind. Those words carved a path through her heart, igniting her deepest fears. That evening, Jenna, her closest friend, reached out, frustrated and confused. "Amelia, we need to talk," she insisted, her voice edged with concern. They met at the park, and as tears streamed down Jenna's cheeks, she begged Amelia to reconsider. "You could lose everything," she said desperately. Amelia took a deep breath, her heart heavy yet sure. "I refuse to live for someone else's expectations. I deserve to love who I want." With each passionate declaration, Amelia's confidence grew, her voice ringing clear and loud amid the quiet of the park. Jenna's eyes widened in disbelief. "But it's complicated." "Complicated?" Amelia echoed, her heart aching, yet resolute. "You think loving someone should come wrapped in a bow and pretty paper? Love isn't simple, it's messy and raw. And I love Lena. If that means facing storms, let us dance in the rain together." A moment of silence hung in the air, the weight of Amelia's words taking root in Jenna's mind. Finally, Jenna spoke, her voice softer now. "I want to support you, but it's hard for me to understand." "I know it is," Amelia admitted, feeling a swell of empathy. "But if our friendship means anything, I need you to stand by me. Love is worth fighting for." In the ensuing silence, Jenna's expression transformed, understanding glimmering in her features. "I can try for you." Amelia beamed, relief flooding her heart. When the day finally came that they would gather with friends and classmates in a local park to celebrate love, Amelia stood with Lena, surrounded by the people who mattered most, each stepping forward with an embrace. Jenna held her hand beside her, supporting Amelia openly, and for the first time, the weight of external judgment felt lighter. "Love thrives," Lena smiled at Amelia, their fingers interlaced, pouring hope into every crevice of uncertainty. "Love conquers all," Amelia whispered back, the words sweetly echoing a promise that felt eternal. As community members mingled, laughter and music filled the air, transforming that park into a tapestry of acceptance. Seeing their families stepping outside their comfort zones and supporting this beautiful love was a beacon of hope brighter than any expectation. Amelia and Lena exchanged glances, gratitude erupting through their hearts. Time had not erased challenges, but it had forged deeper bonds among everyone involved, each person choosing love over fear. The sun began to set, painting the sky in vibrant shades of warmth. It marked not merely a moment of acceptance, but a whole new chapter filled with love, courage, and determination. Surrounded by friends and family, Amelia finally felt the tight chains of expectation loosen, and for the first time, she truly felt free. You need to subscribe now to catch every exclusive story. This is the moment to show your support. Leave a like now to help the algorithm grow. I want to hear your reactions. Comment below your feelings about the ending. Don't wait, not even one more second. Share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this beautiful transformation. Together, we can spread love and inspiration.